Hey gems, welcome to Vivid Vibration. My name is Christina. I hope that y'all are doing well. Excuse me. Gems. The tear, the orphan, the apocalypse, the seed, and the Eros. Whew. Geminis. I don't know. I was like, I hope the Gemini read is good because last time it was all like, we've got a new Gemini on board. But I mean, the apocalypse is the idea of like a massive end, right? I mean, the apocalypse is like every single area of life that you can imagine just, like that's that energy. It's not fun energy. It makes you feel sad. I feel like there's a sense of abandonment. And, honestly, I almost want to say, and obviously take this how it resonates. You can be on either side of the story, like this is a general read. So I'm taking general energy and I'm putting it all together and making one story, right? So you could be in any part of this story. I almost want to say though, sorry, I'm like, it's literally been over 100 degrees every day. And I'm like, oh, can't even. I finally washed my hair, but I'm just like, gross. Okay. Sorry, I don't. I feel like you're ending something. I feel like there is you guys are duality. I feel like there's a part of you that feels guilt. I feel like there's a part of you that feels relief. I feel like there's a part of you that is sad. But also, I feel like there's a part of you that recognizes that I want to say, like, in order to plant a seed that will grow into what you want it to be, you can't plant it in soil that hasn't been tilled. So you gotta till the soil. You gotta pull up the weeds. And the weeds are like, but this is where we live. And you're like, I don't want to feel the weeds. You know what I mean? And it being disheartening. I think there's a lot of sadness surrounding it. Because even if we're in relationships that aren't healthy relationships, they're comfortable because we know that they're there, right? Like that's why we keep bad relationships around us or convenient relationships around us or relationships that don't push us to aspire to anything more than being a petty gossipy bitch. You know what I mean? Like bitter, you know what I mean? But like if that's all you want to be, if that's who you are, right? And I feel like there's kind of this, it's funny because your guys' the energy in your reads just shifts, like I feel like you feel sad and then you feel frustrated and then you feel liberated and it's just kind of this like who do you want to be, like what do you want out of life, like what are you trying to accomplish? Because if you just, I don't know why I think of somebody who like people who troll. I have this person in my life and I've known him for God since Portland, but like when I first met him, he would watch all of my YouTube videos and he would troll the fuck out of me. You know what I mean? He was like obsessed, like, but I feel like there's this idea of like your ego being fed, right? Like it feels nice that people want to pay attention to you, but like also, could you not troll my life? Could you keep your, like your ignorance and your judgment to yourself, please? Like, you know what I mean? And I feel like there's just kind of this idea that you've been in this environment that just brings out the worst in you. And it's like, if you don't want to be that person, you best not surround yourself with people who are that way. You know what I mean? And when people are that way, they're the most difficult people in the world to deal with. Like, I don't fuck with Twitter twats, because it's like, they're the type of people who are like, I'm a good person. You know what I mean? And you're like, okay, well, like, on the surface you are, but your soul is dirty as fuck. Like, you are insecure, and you are petty, and you think, and you're like, you've narcissistic tendencies, and like, the only way you can feel good about yourself is to put other people down, and like, and you think you're superior because of your external environment. But if your value comes from other people, then you don't have any value, sweetie. Sorry for your luck. You know what I mean? But I feel like this energy of being like caught up in this, like these petty bitch troll kind of energy that has like dominated your life. And it's like, while yes, there might be this like, well, we were friends, like, were you friends though? Like, did those people feed your soul? Or did they sweep you down a landslide of a bunch of shit? You know what I mean? And I feel like there's this recognition that, like, if you're gonna steep yourself in shit, you're never gonna grow. Your ego will get nice and swollen, but that's about it. Um, but there's something that you're passionate about that you want to go for. Sorry, that was like a little bit of a tirade, wasn't it? I don't know. I feel like those are all things that you're dealing with. I feel like there's almost like this, like when you squeeze something and all the nasty comes out, but like you got to get the nasty out, otherwise it's never going to heal. Do you know what I mean? That's what that felt like. Like, I got to get all this nasty out, because if I don't get this nasty out, it's not like, there's no healing that can occur. If I don't till this soil, there's no growth that can occur. But if you're sad and you're feeling upset about it, sometimes you just have to remind yourself why the fuck you made this decision in the first place. Because codependency and attachment are some of the hardest things in the world to break away from. But I feel like the idea here again is that you have to find the strength to really, like, if you got to talk yourself into it, if you got to convince yourself that you're not a bad person for doing this because you don't want to, engage in gross energy, then, like, talk yourself into it, hype yourself up, acknowledge those people for who they are, and don't paint a picture of them that's not real, because you're the only person who lives in that delusion. And go for what it is that you want. I do feel like, Gems, there's a relationship there, or like a job, whether it's like, I don't know, I'm just going to use like really basic fundamental like examples. Say there's a job that you want, and it's like, you can't smoke weed in order to get this job, but it's your dream job. So you have to clear your system out before you can apply for this job. And you're like, but I love to smoke weed. I smoke, so it's just, I use it as an example. Because there are jobs that I've passed up because I knew that they would test me for weed. And I'm like, well, if I live in a state where it's legal, like, why would you do that? But I didn't really want those jobs. You know what I mean? But if, like, there's a job that you really want, and they test for weed and you've got it in your system, then they're not going to hire you, no matter how great of a candidate you are. Like, if there's a relationship and you hang out with people, and I feel like this is always kind of a sketchy one, because like, you don't want to allow judgments like classism, like racism. You should never, those aren't positive goals. Those aren't positive things to attain. But if you're, like, if you want to be in a relationship with somebody who, is constantly working to develop themselves, and they don't want to be surrounded by people who they know will like energetically drag them down, then you have to make a decision. Do you want to evolve energetically with this person, or do you want to be comfortable in, like this icky energy that you've been in? Because, Gems, like, you've had a year of some nasty energy. Okay, this message is like just coming through. I don't know. I'm sorry. I hope that it doesn't seem preachy. I might watch it and see if I actually want to post it, because I don't want to come off as preachy. Like, I don't want to be judgmental, or, but like, how do you practice discernment and not judgment? And I feel like that's kind of a thing where you're having to like you're oscillating between discernment and judgment. Nine of Swords and Knight of Wands. That's funny. I mean, because I feel like you're afraid of being judgmental, but you're worried that you'll miss out on being someone who actually practices discernment in their lives, you know? And I feel like when you practice discernment, the first thing that people want to throw at you is that you're judgmental. Oh, you think you're better than me. Oh, you think this, you think that. No, I just know that in order to be a healthy human being, I need to surround myself in healthy environments with healthy people who want the same thing that I want. That doesn't make me judgmental or better than anybody. That makes me somebody who practices discernment out of self-love. And if you ain't got that, you ain't got shit. All right, gems. Maybe you're just having to deal with all that, The Ten of Cups, the Ten of Swords and the Seven of Cups, and feeling confused, because it's like, again, I feel like, here's the thing with situations like this, and I'm not saying this is a place of judgment, been there, done that, we all are on a journey, we all are on a path, we're all going to have these experiences in some form or fashion, right? When you make a decision to improve yourself, everyone who has been a part of your life, who has been benefiting from your lack of improvement, has been benefiting from your lack of boundaries, has been benefiting from the fact that it's easier for you to just go along with them than it is for you to just like rock the boat. They're going to feel attacked by your decision to develop, and they're going to in their own way, because they don't want to improve, because they don't want to change, they're going to make you the bad guy. Because when you are on a path that forces you to hold boundaries, practice discretion, and push yourself harder, everyone who wants to cross your boundaries, everybody who wants you to practice judgment against the people who are actually doing more, they're going to rip you a new asshole, and they're going to tear you down. And it's going to make you feel confused, and it's going to make you feel abandoned, and it's going to make you feel sad, because if they can't stop you from moving forward, then they're going to drag you down and make sure that you feel as shitty about yourself as they feel about themselves. And that's just gross, and further confirmation that you don't want those people in your life. But you have an opportunity to move forward into a new beginning. I think that this new beginning is just requiring you to release some really negative energy, requiring you to release habits that are preventing you from moving forward, and it's hurts. The Shadow. Because you step into the light, people don't like it, and it brings out their shadow, because the shadow suddenly becomes far more in contrast when you stand in the light, right? If you think about like a tree and the sun's coming up, the shadow, it expands. The shadow is bigger than the tree itself. And I almost feel like in this attempt to change, your shadow is becoming bigger than yourself, and it's overwhelming, and it's making you feel sad, and it's making you feel isolated, and you're not really liking it. But again, it's this idea of like, if I don't do this, my opportunity will die in the nasty. And you don't want that. Okay, gems. Well, this feels like a lot. This is a little bit longer of a read. Sorry about that. I hope this resonates with y'all. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. You can be on either side of this story, so take it how it resonates. And yeah, I will see y'all again soon.